Hey everybody, it's Lesley with the TFP and Ellis Smith, and we have some new developments that have surfaced from an open records request made regarding the case about Bobby Stone, the husband of Mayor Berke's chief advisor, Lesley Stone, and this domestic case where charges were dropped about a week to 10 days ago, I believe. So charges were dropped of domestic assault that go all the way back to May, again, where Mayor Berke's chief advisor, Lesley Stone, called police chief here in Chattanooga, Fred Fletcher, and said, "I think my husband is going to kill me." So our media partner, Channel 3, recently put out a request for open records, and today they've surfaced. There's a video of Bobby Stone in the back of a police car speaking to someone on the phone about the incident. There are pictures that Lesley Stone says were her injuries from the reported domestic dispute, and also photos of Bobby Stone's alleged injuries from that dispute, and a rock. We're going to get into what that rock is about too. So we want to share with you what we've learned through what has surfaced from this open records request from our media partner, WRCB Channel 3. Ellis wrote a wrap-up for you on our website that goes point to point of what we've learned, and that's on our website, timesfreepress.com. So do you want to go over what you wrote real quick before we get into this?
Shelley Bradbury did the heavy lifting on that.
Okay.
I just
filled
in a couple little things. But yeah, she we've got those records as well at timesfreepress.com. Basically, essentially, why is all this important? Why are we talking about a domestic violence case? The whole thing centered around what she was doing on the cell phone that ignited this fight. And Bobby Stone has maintained, in fact, after he was cleared of the domestic violence charges, or they refused to press the charges, he made a public statement outside court reiterating that he says his wife was having an affair with the mayor. Now, who is his wife? His wife is Lesley Stone. She is a top aide to Mayor Andy Berke, serving as his chief communications person,
advisor,
and an advisor. Yeah, so she's been one of his top. She
had been promoted actually to that higher position from. Starting in a different position, and
we did get some of the photos. Okay.
So we're going to share those.
And we got the digital versions of those up? Not yet. Okay.
Okay, we're working on getting these.
We're going to get the digital versions up, hopefully.
We're going to share these photos with you in a few minutes, but I do want to talk
about.
We're
a newspaper, so everything has to be printed out. You know, we've got the printing press.
Right.
So we get the old school. We got the photo of the rock.
Okay. Wait, we're going to.
Okay, sorry.
I want to get back to what we're saying. When we learned initially about this police report about the alleged, at that time, domestic incident in May, we spoke about what we as a newspaper and our managing editor, why or not we cover something, a domestic case. And that's getting back to what you were talking about.
Even publishing the name of the victim is something
Definitely.
that a lot of newspapers say, ooh, do we want to do that? Do we not want to do that? And you look at things like, is the person a public figure? Is this, in this case, this was the mayor's chief spokesperson who had been quoted.
Chief advisor.
Yeah, and then promoted to an advisor. Arguably a very public facing position.
And we also had a documented police report,
a
legal report. So we weighed all of those factors before reporting on this. And then, questions from many of our viewers and readers about why would you report about a rumored affair, And that is a really, really good point. We are not in the business of reporting rumors.
On every affair either. I mean,
right.
A lot of you out there are having affairs, and we're not reporting on them. We could, but we're not going to.
Yeah,
but this is Chattanooga's
2016.
This is Chattanooga's highest elected official. He is the executive, the chief executive of this city, of this town, with wide-ranging powers to do a lot of things that affect the lives of Chattanoogans.
And about why we did eventually report about the alleged affair is because Lesley Stone's soon-to-be ex-husband, they're in divorce proceedings.
Right now.
He made legal statements to police that the reason he was fighting with his wife, he says a tussle, was because he was trying to get a hold of her cell phone, and he had seen Mayor Berke and his wife, he says, kissing
previously.
So these claims are all in legal documents that we've had our eyes on, or we would not be reporting about rumors of affairs, or, again, Ellis mentioned this is a public figure, and there is a documented.
We're paying a salary.
Domestic report.
You, me,
Yeah.
you out there.
But we did definitely do weigh in all the legalities. We would never just go with
it's something we do
speculation.
consider.
So we're going off police reports. We're going off Neil Pinkston, the DA, deciding to drop domestic charges toward Bobby Stone. That happened, I think it was about 10 days ago.
This
at
was
this time.
just after we believe the TBI report was completed and then presented to the district attorney. He chose, apparently based on evidence contained within that TBI report, to drop charges against Bobby Stone, who was originally arrested and charged and jailed for domestic violence charges. So they've dropped those charges. And he, however, was not finished with the matter. Again, as I said, at the end of the court hearing, he addressed the public and reiterated that he believed his wife was having an affair with the mayor.
And he believed, Bobby Stone also said, when these charges were dismissed, that there was a conspiracy going on between the police handling of this matter. I'm going to get back to DA Neil Pinkston. He said in the motion that Bobby Stone hadn't been read his Miranda rights before he was interviewed by police, and that Laci Stone made inconsistent statements about the incitement. So, like we mentioned, that case kept getting pushed back, the domestic
Right.
assault case, until the TBI report was completed, when it was, to our understanding from what the DA tells us. He looked it over and made his decision about those charges.
So why did the
based on some
TBI
of
get
that.
involved here, right? That's the other question. The
Right.
TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, why are they getting into this domestic violence case? Pinkston asked the TBI to intervene, and there were concerns
He requested.
he requested the TBI, and Pinkston is the district attorney here, because it was actually, for the reason you do this is to protect Bobby Stone, the defendant, because in case there's any, I'm not saying that this was the case, but this is why these things are done. In case there's any bias in the police force, or there's a concern that a person may not get a fair investigation locally, you bring in the TBI to provide that impartial investigation. That's one of the reasons that people will do that.
Okay.
So he asked that the TBI do that, and then everything hinged on that report. It's now done. So what's the new evidence?
Okay, so
now?
let's get into the new evidence. So when these charges were dismissed, we've kind of taken you back through our coverage of all of this. Then our media partner, as we mentioned, Channel 3, puts in an open records request, which is a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Yeah, to figure out what else they could find about this case. So let's get into the video. What happens in the video of Bobby Stone the night he was taken into police custody? It's in a police cruiser in the back seat. He makes a call to a man believed to be a relative, we don't know that, and explains what happened. Then he asks the officer, quote, the video shows all this, "Are you married? I hope yours works out better than mine did." Oh, Stone tells the caller that at the time. Then he went on to say, "I made the mistake of calling Fred Fletcher, the police chief, is my friend. He was over at my house tonight." Expletive to him about my wife. And because I did that, he had to file a report. He's a by-the-book guy, Stone continued.
Which is that's a nice thing for Fred Fletcher to be known as a by-the-book guy. I'm sure he appreciates that.
You would think.
Yeah.
He went on to say, "We tussled. This has been going on for a couple weeks. I caught her kissing the mayor 2 weeks ago." That's back in May, he's claiming. "And I thought we were kind of working through it. And she said it was just a fluke." He goes on to say, "Tonight, I saw her in the dog yard, like doing this long text. I tried to grab her phone and said, 'Let me see your phone.' And she wouldn't show it to me. So I grabbed it. We got into a tussle. Then it turned to a serious wrestling match." And that's where we're going to get into the pictures. "Over the phone. She would never let me see the phone. so I told her to get the F out. The conversation continues with Stone saying she went over to Chief Fred Fletcher's house because I guess it was close. We also have in that initial police report that she had called Chief Fletcher saying, my husband is going to kill me. Bobby Stone goes on in the back of this video police car saying, you called me and she called me, so I'm going to have to turn this in. Stone said, referring to the conversation he had with Fletcher, again, saying, by the book, you called me, she called me, I'm going to have to call this in, and which he did. So then, getting into this rock picture we also have, and I'm not trying to like withhold these from you, I'm just trying to tell the whole thing before we get into the picture so you understand. Bobby Stone says, quote, I threw rock through the expletive B word window, which was probably not a good move. I just don't want to say the word, particularly because she had a Berke sticker on the window. So he's saying I threw the rock when she was driving away at her window with the Berke sticker on it. And then he ends apparently by saying, I've got her whole damn family in my will. Yikes. And at this point, also, I read that he was not cuffed in the back of this police car, and that kind of goes back to what DA Neil Pinkston said, that he hadn't been read his Miranda rights, which I'm going to say, I'm sure is part of the reason the TBI or Neil Pinkston asked the TBI to investigate, because
you have the right to remain silent. He obviously didn't do that. Yeah, anything you say can and will be used against you in court and so forth. You guys have seen cop shows before.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Mirandizing people, and the idea is to advise them of that so they can refrain from self-incrimination if they so choose.
Right.
That's part of the law, and those cases don't usually get very far if they haven't been advised of those Miranda rights.
Right. So anyways, so that's where the video comes in, and the video we link for people on the website, is that correct?
We just about have the video. As you see here, we have some stills. We are still waiting on the digital files. We've got in fact, I've got some emails right now. So we should have those up at the conclusion of this broadcast. We'll have a whole bunch of stuff for you. Now again, this is not, we're not really advancing the plot here. What this is more of a confirmation of things that you previously heard, that we previously talked about. This is what has surfaced from this open records request today. And a lot of this stuff had gotten tied up in the TBI investigation as well. So as we explained to you guys maybe a week or two ago, when there's a Tennessee Bureau of investigation going on, it's sealed. All that stuff is basically under wraps until the conclusion of the investigation. So now that that's over with, we're able to we still can't get the investigation. Those remain sealed under law, but some of the materials that were done locally, as far as from local police officials, and that includes dash cam video, things like that were made here locally. Those are available. We still don't have the results of the TBI investigation. Those things are part of the domestic assault case file. Yeah. So we'd have Neil Pinkston to get that TBI file, which was far more wide-ranging than anything that you're going to see here. We would require a court order, and that court order would have to be requested by Attorney General Neil Pinkston, who I don't believe has yet done so. Mm-hmm. So that would be a fuller account. We'll check on that. Yeah, we'll stay up with that, but that would, of course, provide a much fuller account of everything that went on, because they then went back and re-interviewed everybody. What we're getting is a snapshot of what happened that night and what was said that night. But to truly get the big picture, we're still hoping that TBI report will come out and answer a lot of our questions, and I'm sure a lot of you, judging by the number of you interested in this story right now, I'm sure a lot of you would like to see that TBI report as well. Okay, so we're going to check on that for you. Yeah. And then the video, we're working on getting that linked to the website, and the pictures of from both Lesley Stone and Bobby Stone. Really, honestly, like as a reporter, I hate showing this stuff. Yeah, it's kind of weird. In fact, so. Yeah, I mean, I think the ones that we really need to see. I mean, this was the rock, and this looks to me like a chicken nugget. I'm not gonna lie. This doesn't quite. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a rock. You just had to. It may be that I'm hungry. It may be that it's Ellis. Lunchtime. It doesn't look like a chicken nugget to you. I don't know. Okay,
So it does look like food. It does look like
It looks like food. I think we were
I
sent.
can't believe
I think we were
said
sent a
this.
picture of food.
Talking about something so serious.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is the rock, the picture of the rock
Or chicken.
that Bobby Stone said he threw at his wife Lesley Stone's car.
I was trying to
as she
look at the
drove
other
away.
stuff in there for context. I can't tell.
And he said he threw it because there was a Berke sticker on her car, back in her car window.
Yeah, it was a little bit. There was a moment of I'm not going to defend the guy. He
Right.
was obviously angry.
Right.
It was obviously a passionate moment.
Right. We've been trying to contact him today about this open records request and what we have. He's aware of what we have.
Yeah.
And he's going through divorce proceedings. So I have spoken to his attorney, who of course would advise any client going through divorce proceedings not to talk to the media.
Right.
So
yeah, typically, whether you're the one filing the lawsuit or you're the one getting sued, neither judges nor prosecutors, nobody really looks kindly when you go try to, when you attempt to try the case, essentially in the court of public opinion. The judge, especially in these cases, will feel like you're trying to take the law out of their hands and try it in public. And oftentimes, I don't know if this is an unwritten rule or a written rule, but oftentimes you will see the judge react more harshly if you try to go around their authority, essentially.
Right.
So almost every attorney advises their client, be quiet until the trial is over. Let's let the judge sort it out. That's why we have the court. Let's let that happen. And
But
that's what's happening in this case.
Yeah, definitely. Getting back into our process as reporters, we still have to try to
We
talk
still have to
to
ask.
people.
Sorry.
And sometimes it pays off.
Yeah.
Or you keep relationships with people who eventually do talk when they want to. And I do want to mention also about Lesley Stone. When these domestic assault charges were dropped, she did put out a statement that we have
Everybody
for you
did.
on our website.
She put one out. The mayor put one
Her
out.
attorney
Fred
put
Fletcher
one out.
out.
So there are two sides to any sort of case,
And let's be fair to everybody, just to kind of paraphrase their statements. Fred Fletcher said that this case was handled like any other. Now, obviously, not everybody can call Fred Fletcher on his cell phone and come over
not everybody had
and
him
crash on
eating
his
dinner
couch.
at their home right before an alleged dispute.
But other than that, he said it was this case was handled like any other, and even Bobby Stone in this recorded conversation says he's a by the book kind of guy. So that seems to support the chief's assertion to an extent. Mayor Berke has repeatedly denied, obviously, any affair on every occasion. And
he did immediately. Let's mention, but back when this all came out in May, he pretty quickly, Mayor Berke put out a statement denying allegations that Bobby Stone was
we had
making.
not printed those allegations
No,
yet. He denied.
We wouldn't have.
He denied allegations that we had not actually published.
And we wouldn't have.
Yeah.
When he denied allegations, that's when we started talking about
Yeah, we were like,
allegations.
oh, you're denying allegations
Yeah.
that no one's actually printed or
We didn't feel
written
like
about?
it was professional
That's
or
interesting.
validated on our end to report about rumors, and then
Right.
he denied allegations, which then led us to report on those allegations, right?
Yeah, normally it happens the other way.
Right.
Normally you publish whatever facts you have, and then the person denies it, or you call them for a comment before you publish it, and they deny it. So it's unusual for someone to deny something before you've even written about it.
Right.
But every day is
So-
different here at the Times Free Press, so you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but we're very conscious about. We heard a lot of this information before
Obviously,
he
we hear
denied
all the
those
rumors,
allegations. Yeah, and I remember talking to Ellis about it the morning. I was aware that I was tipped off that the police report was in, and I contacted him, and he was like, "Hold up, we don't report on rumors." I remember you saying that, which we didn't. We didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But now it's out, and
Yeah.
there's quite a bit here, and this will continue. I don't think this is the last thing that we're going to see on this.
I don't
is
either.
my guess. I think that
There are several other possibilities.
it feels like a faucet. Like if you've ever had one of those faucets that just keeps dripping, and you hear that, you start to hear that
You're like,
sound
"Please
everywhere,
stop.
and just
Please make it stop."
But it's going to keep happening.
It's like you're trying to sleep. It's just like keeps coming. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah. So anyways, legally, there are all sorts of possibilities. I covered not divorce cases, but I've covered domestic cases and all sorts of other things throughout my career. And there's civil possibilities. There's lots of, and you know, that's speculating if Bobby Stone were to move forward with a civil case, that TBI report could come into play again.
Right. In cases, I believe it was a Memphis case that I was looking at.
Researching,
And the TBI report, of course, as they are all sealed, it was sealed. And the judge allowed some of it with redactions to be released because the defendant in that case needed that information in order to make their case that they were innocent. So we thought, well, that's a good reason. So in the course of a court case, if there are certain allegations that are supported by evidence in the TBI report, you could then see the need, or a judge could perceive the need for that report to be unsealed.
Did you find quite a few of those, or
not
just
many, actually?
Okay.
They tend to just stay sealed. Tennessee, not all states are like that, and even FBI records. You know, you can request your FBI records after a certain amount of time, and you can actually get the FBI file on yourself. Which I don't know. They may not even know who you are. No, I don't want to know what they have on me. But you can do it. Actually, no, you can't do it. Only I can do it. I think you can request it on yourself, but other people can't do it.
Okay.
But
maybe later.
Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be fun. We'll read one another's FBI files at a future date. But TBI, everything's sealed. It's very unusual, and that's by law. And my guess is, based on I deal with a lot of open records, and oftentimes public officials and I will disagree on whether or not a record should be open. They'll say this. It's embarrassing to me. I don't want it out, and I'll say that's exactly why I want it.
Right. And I get really frustrated by it.
And ultimately, in this case, though, I think the idea was to allow the TBI. The reason why these records were sealed is to allow the TBI to conduct these interviews with people and allow people to kind of speak freely without worrying that they're going to see those words everywhere. So the idea is to allow the TBI. Now, I disagree wholeheartedly with keeping things secret, but that's part of the rationale. Is maybe people will be freer. It's the same reason that, for instance, the President of the United States often claims executive privilege when he's given advice by his advisors or his attorneys. That remains sealed in the United States of America in order that those people
not any emails on
in order
private
that those
servers.
people can give so they can give unfettered advice and not worry about getting judged. So there's some, that's kind of the legal thought behind that. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it,
just makes our job tough, and it makes you guys want to know even more.
Yes.
So,
but if you keep subscribing like you have been, which we appreciate all the subscriptions to our digital product, those are going up, and we love that you guys are doing that. Keep subscribing. That gives us the resources to keep fighting and get those records that you guys deserve to see. You're paying for them, so you might as well see them.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to keep asking the hard questions. We're going to check with the DA, General Neil Pinkston, about whether or not he has put in a court order to unseal the TBI records. We're going to continue to ask questions to Bobby Stone. We're going to follow these divorce proceedings. He may or may not talk at some point, and I do not know, it has not been confirmed whether or not there are any other legal cases or suits that are going to be filed, potentially civilly.
There's a lot of different stuff. I mean, it's kind of a spider web. You've got divorce court where there's stuff going on. You have the criminal case. Then you have
you have this TBI, open records request with a video
have the Pinkston
and pictures.
thing. So if there's little pieces of this happening in all sorts of different places in the city. So it's hard to kind of wrap your arms around it and say, okay, here's what's going on, because there's one thing going on over here and another thing going on over there. But that's, again, what we're doing. So we'll have something for you tomorrow, a little more complete, and throughout the day we'll have updates online at timesfreepress.com as we continue to go through this stuff and update our coverage accordingly.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
timesfreepress.com.